Hello, everybody, and welcome to our Percentile Vice, Whitechapel Dark Mist. I'm Steve, that's Emily, that's John. Let's get right to it, shall we? John, you want to give us a recap of what happened last session?
Just going back to the very, very beginning, our investigators happened upon the dead body of Thomas Blanton. You were with a friend. I was called to investigate by a friend as a professional courtesy, and from there, we did a little investigating, ended up going to the police station and interviewing your friend Livy.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't find out too much other than he was ranting and raving about other worlds and being to other places and saying a whole lot of
Making about deals.
making deals and other occultish type things. After dealing with Libby, we saw the widow Blanton at the police station. We went and checked out his abode. Josephus was sure he would find some sort of archaic tome that was detailing how to make deals with whatever or going to a different place, and we found none of that. We found a messy lived-in mother's
Hovel.
mother's apartment, a single mother's apartment. Obviously, Thomas had not been home for some time. There were only women's clothes strewn about. And from there, we decided to go back to the scene of the death, in which we found very little. We were looking for evidence of the bugs. Didn't find any evidence of the bugs, but we did happen across a group of younglings, urchins, if you will, who were discussing the dead body a la Stand By Me. And Will Wheaton was in it. It's a good movie.
I'll Stand By Me.
They ran off. I chased them, as according to prophecy. And we happened upon their secret hideout in a basement in which we made a few deals of our own, from Lil getting Thomas Blanton's pocket watch that was inscribed with the name of George Blanton. We later found out at the police station, but we also found out a few things from Lil, like the chest of Thomas Blanton had exploded and millions of little Georgies, which is what they called the little bug, had come out of it.
Mm-hmm.
We also bought a Georgie, the particular Georgie, and we took it back to the police station, showed it to the police captain, told him what we had found out. Livy had not been any cause of harm to Mr. Blanton. The police officer was skeptical, as we expected him to be, but we from there went to the cemetery where Lil had told us she had seen Weasel being carried by two men in dark clothing. We found a mausoleum with a door that had scratch marks as though it had been recently opened, and opened the door, went inside, and fell to our possible dooms.
Yep. And you're dead. It's been great, everybody. Thank
All right,
you.
thanks. Okay.
Kisses.
Kisses.
Anything I would add to that wonderful summary is one other piece of information, don't know what it means, that you got when you went back to the scene looking for the bugs. You went down the alleyway where the bugs had gone, and some lady stuck her head out and spoke to you. Didn't know anything about bugs, but told you about
Caillou.
some weird man, naked, hairless,
Wrinkleless.
expressionless
Newborn man.
walked out of the alleyway that night.
Yes.
So you guys are currently about 6 feet below ground level.
Yes.
You've fallen into a rectangular pit, maybe even about the size that a coffin would go into. There's no coffin down here. It is very dark. The little bit of light is from above you, from the door to the mausoleum that is open from you coming through it. But 6 feet down, there's very little of that showing. If you look back over your head, you can see the haze of light above you. And feeling around, you can tell that it is solid earth on 3 sides of you, but directly in front of you, you don't feel any dirt. It appears that there's a passageway that goes forward. It is completely lightless down there. And here we are.
Okay.
Rosalie,
Yes.
why don't you let me give you a boost up, see if you can reach where we dropped in at, go grab a torch or a light of some sort.
Yeah, certainly. Do you think you're strong enough? I'm a rather tall woman. My size is 75. Okay.
My strength is 35, but I think my guy thinks he can.
All right. So he's gonna try to give me a boost up to see if I can get up to grab. Because
Sure, I want a strength roll from Josephus and a dexterity roll from
Rosalie.
Rosalie.
All right, dexterity.
No. First, he's got to make the strength roll. Otherwise, there's nothing for you to be dexterous about.
The fall.
No. Just because I can't get her up there doesn't mean she's not trying to get up there. Well,
Just
I'm
roll
trying.
your strength roll.
I already
Joseph.
did.
I'm
I got a
sorry, we're
67.
My apologies. We're obviously operating under the assumption that you guys are controlling this game.
He just he failed and he was trying to make a case before he told you he failed.
Did you fail?
Yeah.
Badly?
Yeah, 67, 35.
All right, then I'm going to let you make a hard dex roll to try to get out of this thing.
No, I failed.
You guys are still down here, and it's dark. You could switch things up, though.
Me try to hoist him?
Yeah.
Certainly. My strength's not much worse than yours. 30. I'm going to try to hoist him. I'm going to just put your foot right here, bud. Let's see if that works. No, it's 81.
Go ahead and make a hard dex roll. That's a no.
That's a 07.
Nice.
That is an extreme success on my dex roll.
All right. So, Rosalie, you clasp your hands together in the classic childlike boost.
Right.
And you place a foot in there, and she starts to lift you up, and her hands just like fall out from underneath her. But you're able to grab the ledge just as it goes. And most of the getting up out of this is all you. Like you're having to do a chin up on the earth and then kind of finally get yourself up out of there. It's almost like you could have done this yourself. That's how little help she provided.
I think part of it is he was very determined because he was so fucking embarrassed that he could not give a simple boost up.
To a lady.
His face is hot. He can feel the blushing red. He's like, let me get out of here. So I climb out.
All right, so you're standing there in dim light now because you're above ground and in the light that's shining through the mausoleum door. Of course, there are no lights in the mausoleum, so that's all you got.
Can I make a luck roll to see if I find a torch nearby?
Bush stick.
Question, has Steve ever learned a lesson?
No.
I will need an extreme luck roll for a torch.
Well,
in the mausoleum. Now, if by nearby, you mean you're walking out the mausoleum, you're going to check out the graveyard, go up to the side of the church, and all that stuff is a different story. But
it was
seemed like
kind
you
of
were asking for like right here, right now.
kind of
in the bush.
half-ass a joke because my luck is 25.
Yeah.
But if I can
But if you're going for
investigate
bush
the
day,
scene,
it really doesn't matter what your luck is, right?
it doesn't. And I just rolled a 07, so
Really?
my dice are
a minute ago.
a minute ago, yeah. My dice are good, you know. I could roll a 5 on this one.
They weren't good on the strength roll.
Go for it.
90.
I'm gonna call up. You know, sometimes there's like candles around the graves and things like that. You might want to check around the surrounding tombstones. Quickly. It's rather dark.
That's a great idea. I would like to scan the graves for candles, and if that doesn't work out, I have the backside idea. When she says candles, churches always have candles.
So looking around, it appears that maybe that there were some folks that had stuck candles on the tops of headstones and lit them, and you can tell because there's like wax dripping down the sides of headstones and a burnt little wick at the bottom, but there's nothing left that you could hold up, and
Certainly.
they burned down because
Candles do. That's a smart call. Yeah.
Let me go try the church.
Okay. So it's the middle of the day. The church is open. If you want to go inside.
Okay, I'll go inside.
Right, go inside. This is a poor neighborhood. It's a poor church, but when you go inside, they've done their best to give it that ornate look, right? Darker woods for the pews and the walls, and you know, Catholic-esque iconography along the walls, this being the Church of England, split from the Catholic Church for unknown reasons, maybe like 8 of them. Like,
8 unknown reasons.
Right, Henry's.
Yeah, no, I know. I just liked it for 8 unknown reasons.
Up near the front, there is an altar, and to the left of the altar, there is a bank of like candles, some of which have been lit in a little area for, leaving offerings and then lighting candles. The custom being you could go and light a candle for a deceased or sick loved one or whatever. But the custom would be to, leave a little offering
A little something.
to burn one of those candles.
Is anybody around? Can I do a quick scan of the area?
Mm-hmm. Give me a spot hidden roll.
68.
We don't see anybody right now.
That was a fail, by the way.
Yeah, I think we
I
could
repeat.
go.
Okay.
Um,
I am just gonna... Hold on. Let me calculate my monies real quick.
yeah, you were throwing it around earlier today. What's your spending limit per day? Because it seems like you dropped 6 or 7 pounds with the kitties.
No, I think I dropped 3. She dropped...
Like 5.
Okay, I was
5.
thinking
We got 1 back. There was one the day before where I had paid the bartender.
but we got a
like
daily
$2.
spending limit, so you don't have to worry about yesterday. But yeah,
So I'm going to take out £1 and put in the offering plate and grab a candle. And I'm going to head back out towards the mausoleum.
Stealing from churches.
It's not
Definitely.
stealing. I gave an offering.
and considerably larger offering than anything else that was in the little plate there.
Jesus is everywhere. I can light the candle wherever the heck I want.
And by looking at the play, you can tell other people left rental type offerings, and John has now left. I'm buying
Because
Right.
I'm not Catholic.
That's
I don't know the customs.
All right, so you get back out to the mausoleum. You have a candle. Do you have a lighter or matches?
I did not write down lighter or
You
matches.
strike me as the kind of dude who smokes a pipe once in a while. or stogie.
I did not write down pipe or stogie.
Just say.
You strike me as the kind of woman who would smoke a pipe or a stogie every now and then.
I would agree on that, but no, I got a straight razor and a revolver.
Just to make this fun, you can each make a luck roll, and I'm going to let you make it with bonus dice. So roll 2 tens dice, pick the lowest of them, and then add that with your ones dice.
Both of those are a 74.
270. And what is your luck?
25.
Oh, yeah, we've discussed this, haven't we?
A 23, which is a hard... No, a regular success.
All right, so you start looking through your bag, your purse, whatever it is that you carry. Okay. Like, oh, yeah, and you pull out a little, I don't know, like a round tin or something cylindrical that, has matches in it and a place to strike them or whatever. Pretty ornate. Probably took it off of John somewhere.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
So I'm going to walk into the mausoleum and be like, not like into, but to the door.
You can actually walk around the pit in the mausoleum, right? It's not like the whole floor of the mausoleum is. It's like what you consider, that classic, a grave's been dug size. Yeah. But the mausoleum's a little bigger now. You can walk around the edges of it. You guys just happen to bust a door down.
Yeah, and come tumbling in.
Okay, I will walk around the edge and say, Rosalee, I found a candle in the church upstairs, but I don't have anything to light it with. Might you have a matchbook or...
Oh, certainly. Hold on. Yeah, here you go.
All right, I'm going to hand her down the candle, actually.
Strike it and light it.
Okay. You now have a light source, so you can see what you could only feel before. 3 sides of essentially a dug grave, and on the 4th side, which is on the end of it, farthest away from the door.
Right.
As you come in the door, then the rectangle of the cutout goes straight in front of you, and it's the far end. And you can see kind of a circular opening that goes back further, and your light is spilling into there a little bit. You can see probably 6 or 7 feet into it, and that's what it looks like, a tunnel.
A tunnel. There seems to be a tunnel leading the opposite direction of the door. Are you staying up there?
I'll come down there with you.
Let me step back and lie you down.
I'll climb down.
Okay, we're both down there.
Right. As crazy as this sounds, Josephus, but I think we ought to go down the tunnel and see what's down there, because this is I don't know. I feel very strongly that we need to check this out.
I'm going to reach into my pocket, pull out a coin, and flip it. And you can see my face is contorted deeply in thought. And
both halves of your face?
Both halves. And around the 3rd or 4th flip, I'm going to catch it, put it in my pocket, and reach for Georgie. What's Georgie doing?
So Georgie is still scurrying around with not any loss of
fervor.
No, I was trying to remember that word you used the other day, vivaciousness.
Vivaciousness.
Still has the same amount of energy as when you got him, but trying to find a way out of this bottle. But all of his activities to find the way out of the bottle is centered on one side of the bottle. The tunnel heads east. Georgie, the small little insect, his activities along the bottle seem to be pointing more southwest.
Okay. I'm going to put him away and say, all right, let's go, Rosalee. I'll lead.
Yeah. And I'll hand him the candle so he can lead. And we will onward.
And I'm going to be holding the candle in one hand and my shotgun in the other. Not in a, like, ready against the shoulder to fire position, but, you know.
Okay, so you got to stoop down pretty low, real crouch to get through this all. And as you guys start getting ready to do that, and then you've got this light source. Would both of you make me spot hidden rolls, please?
96.
What's your spot hidden?
60.
Okay.
30, which is a hard success.
Okay, just as you're getting ready to go in there, you notice that on the floor of this cutout area, dugout area, you see some larger, like, boot prints. You see some, now a little bit obscured because of your footsteps and whatnot, but it looks like something has been dragged from this thing into the tunnel. And you said you had a hard success?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you see a single print right inside the cutout, like right next to the opening, that looks cloven.
I don't like that.
I was going to say goatish, but I didn't want to give John a...
Make this uncomfortable for everybody. Mr. Carter? Yeah, Mr. Carter. Did you notice these footprints here? There seems to be some large footprints and something dragging. And just back here, it looks like some kind of equestrian equine type. I don't know how you'd get a horse down here, or maybe a small goat.
I don't know either.
It's very strange. This is a weird question. So Rosalee spends a lot of time with menfolk.
Really?
Yeah, funnily enough. Would she be able to...
Just one of the guys.
Just one of the guys. Would she be able to make a general assertion as to maybe the size and build of somebody with that size footprint?
I would think so.
Yeah. So is there something I can roll?
No, I think we're just going to tell you. The only thing I could think of would be natural world, but I don't think that the skill you have in natural world really probably goes to that bit of your intelligence. How about going with a no roll? Because this is your street education.
Okay. So a 56, which is a success.
Yeah. So relatively speaking, this person is probably considerably larger than Mr. Carter.
Perfect. Thank you.
The one thing you do notice is that the boot tracks don't seem to go into the tunnel. Almost like jump down into this thing. Most of the tracks are on the half of this cutout rectangle closest to the door, and then they don't go further.
Do the boot tracks happen before the dragging, or do the boot traps happen simultaneous with the dragging?
All right, so picture we got some like long scratches in there that represent the dragging, and
Yes.
they are right down the middle
Mhm.
of this thing. The boot tracks would have been like right at the very beginning of the rectangle, and maybe a little on the sides maybe halfway up the drag marks.
Okay, certainly. All right. Seems to have been a very large man, Mr. Carter, much larger than yourself. But he didn't seem to have gone very far in, only stopped about right here. It's very strange, but continue. Sorry.
I'm going to put the candle down and take a closer look at it. At the tracks.
Anyone in particular, the boot track, the cloven track, or the
just
drag?
All of them.
Okay.
Just kind of doing a motion of taking it in.
All right, so you don't need to make a spot hidden because she's pointed it out to you. I will allow a natural world roll to see if you can tell something more than it looks equine that Rosalee gave you, or I'm open to an argument for why a different roll might apply.
I have some points in track, but I don't think it would tell me what you're trying to get me to.
Right. So now that I look at it, I think natural world, track, or ride, if your ride is relative to horses.
Yeah.
That, okay.
No
Tell me,
ride.
Joe.
So what are we doing here? Track?
Track.
Okay.
Tell me Joseph Carter does not ride horses? Seems implausible.
That's a straight 50, which is a fail.
Okay.
So I know nothing more.
Straight fucking.
Yeah. You do know enough that this cloven hoof mark is one, not a horse, right?
Hooves are kind of.
They're rounded and they're not split.
Yep.
And this one is split.
And it is considerably smaller than what you'd expect a horse to make. But considerably is the wrong word. It is smaller than what you expect a horse to make.
I don't know what to make of this. And I'm going to look up at the ceiling again and see how big the ceiling is here.
In the mausoleum?
In this particular part where the tracks are.
So the track that you saw is right there at the edge of the hole that was dug and the tunnel. The tunnel is maybe 4 feet tall. The entire depth of the grave that was dug is 6 feet. So you're going to have to do some considerable crouching as you go through this. Unless you're less than 4 feet tall.
Size 55?
You're going to have some considerable crouching to do.
So I'm going to confusedly crouch.
Confusedly.
Like.
Oh, confused about the surroundings. I thought maybe you were confused about how to crouch.
Such a strange sensation. I've never done this.
I never knew.
It's like when you're in a video game and it's teaching you how to crouch and you just hit the button over and over again.
I will keep going through the tunnel, trying to see if I see the tracks anymore as we get further down.
So as you get into the tunnel right now, the only light source is
the candle.
And it is, the light it's giving off is being absorbed greatly by how dark it is. But right around you, right, that immediate, 3 or 4 foot sphere around the candlelight is reasonably well lit. So give me a spot hidden roll and give it to me with a bonus dice.
The ones is cocked. 51.
And is that
success?
Just a regular success? Yep. So you see more of these tracks going towards the mausoleum door and then coming away from the mausoleum, like both ways in this thing. You can't tell if one creature has made this trek several times or if several creatures have made this trek. But It's by no means like covering completely the floor, but you can tell that there are several of these tracks in here.
I'm going to keep walking.
Keep her
You
going.
could make a track roll as well. The spot hidden saw them. The track roll might tell you whether this is one creature that continually moves back and forth or if there's several creatures.
I'll try that again then. That is an extreme success.
Oh,
A 0-5.
You are able to determine
Mark it off.
that there are at least 3 different sizes of these cloven prints.
Rosalee,
Yes.
if I'm not mistaken, there's at least 3 of these different animal prints in here. It's the same kind of animal, but it's got to be 3 different ones because they're different sizes.
You could look down and you might have a hard time telling, right? I mean, the size difference is probably in the centimeter ranges, not like this one's an inch wider than
Right.
that one. It's really obvious, but to somebody with some tracking skill, you can tell that this print and that print were not made by the same thing.
I'm going to swing the candle around, and the biggest and the smallest one, I'm going to put my finger next to it and sort of measure with my finger so she can see there's a size difference there.
No, I believe you. It's quite strange that there would even be one such creature down here. I can't think of any animal that would want to spend significant time down here, let alone 3.
They may be, whatever they're doing down here, they may be using a team of goats.
Like beasts of burden to move it. That would make sense. It's all very logical. I understand. Yes, certainly.
And I'm going to turn around and keep walking.
The drag tracks do continue as well.
Are there footprints in the drag tracks?
The cloven prints.
Can I tell which ones came first? Because, like, if you're on the beach and you're dragging a towel, like, it'll knock sand into your footprints. Does it look like that here, or like somebody dragged a towel and then somebody walked over it?
You can definitely tell that the drag marks go over some of the prints.
Okay.
But you can also tell that there's a print or 2 that appeared to be over the drag marks.
Okay.
All right.
We'll keep walking.
We're going to press forward.
Okay. So you move down this corridor. It's long. It's gets tight. It twists. Sometimes the ceiling's a little lower. Sometimes it's a little higher. And then eventually you kind of feel the walls spreading and opening up for you, and you find yourself in this small opening cavern, like the ceiling goes up higher, maybe 15 to 20 foot diameter, though it is not a circle. It's rough and whatever, that this opens into. The ceiling goes up at least another couple feet. You could probably imagine, based on where you came in and the terrain from above, that is just a foot or 2 underneath the level of the ground above the ceiling of this room.
Gonna reach, before I go in there, I'm going to reach the candle in and see if I can see anything in the room.
Okay. So sticking the candle through the opening and around, there's a weird play of shadows, but not that much, because there's nothing sticking up in the middle of this room to throw shadows around. You really can't see into, I mean, you can tell that there's walls on the other side, but you can't see well enough to know if there might be something in that little crevice, or is that just an indentation, or is that another tunnel? But you can tell that doesn't appear to be any people, creatures, entities in this immediate area.
Can I ascertain in which direction this opening is pointed?
Which opening? The one you're coming through?
Was it straight shot or did it curve?
No, I'm looking for cardinal directions, north, south, east, west.
All right. So you guys came into the mausoleum and you started working down a tunnel. The tunnel kind of twisted, but it is essentially straight.
Okay.
It might move a little bit this way or that way.
So still
get
east.
around, large rocks or whatever. But yes, essentially you've gone east the whole time with slight deviations, but the general direction was east.
Okay. I'll walk into the room.
Okay. Your candle lights it up. Give me spot hidden rolls.
Ooh. I succeeded.
I succeeded with a extreme success, 08.
Nice.
Why did I check off stealth instead of spot hidden earlier?
I don't know. Why did you?
I don't know either.
Would have been a great time to, we're going to go stealthily down this tunnel.
Yeah.
There's nobody around to see you.
And it was dark.
You're going to just nail this.
Nailed it.
Okay, so the room, vaguely circular, but again, the walls are not even or whatever. You do see two openings kind of across the way, one kind of northeast and one kind of southeast. So basically the tunnels coming in this room would form a Y. You come in from the east and then it either northeast or southeast, there's another like tunnel opening. There are multiple footprints in here. It's a well-trampled area, right? And so you really can't, by looking at them, get any more information than you already have. There's at least 3 different sizes, and there's folks.
Does it look like they go in one direction more than the other?
In here, they look kind of like they mill about, right? But there is a more well-trodden path of prints that go in or out of any of the 3.
But none of the paths stick out as, oh, this is...
No.
Okay.
No. On the ground, you see a pair of boots, a pair of pants, and a shirt. The boots are relatively okay. They're not like sitting up like you'd place your shoes down in your closet or something. They're on their side. And the pants and shirt have been ripped almost to shreds, but only on their front sides. The back sides of them laying on the ground appear to be relatively untorn.
Are the clothes kind of like laid out in the order that they are worn, like pants and then shoes and then shirt, or is it kind of all milled about?
So it's not as straight and well defined as I'm going to lay out my clothes like
right.
this. But generally speaking, that is the order in which they appear. Right? There's the shirt, there's the pants, there's the shoes. Yeah.
Do the boots match the size of the boots that I identified earlier, given the man? Give or take.
They do not.
Okay.
In fact, the soles of these boots are really worn, like maybe even with holes in them, and a piece of canvas placed from the inside to cover up a hole. The laces are torn and shredded and like should have been replaced long ago, and they only go like halfway up the boot now, but it's being made do. The clothes, besides being dragged through there, look old and dingy, like they haven't been washed in forever.
Okay. So I have some points in appraise. Could I possibly look at these clothes and determine if these shredding was recent or if it's like an old shirt, because it would have like more dirt and grime buildup, more like curling of the fabric, like if it would have been a long
You're making
term.
a really good case for what is essentially a losing argument, so I'm going to give you credit for that. Can I use my ability to tell the value of a gem to see how
That's
much
fair.
good these clothes are? I will let you make an appraise roll, but I want to with a penalty dice. I'll tell you what, I'll make you.
No.
Your choice. Penalty dice, or I need at least a hard success. So do you want to make it at a 50% roll, or do you want to roll a penalty dice? Which effectively comes out about the same, right? Because your chances of rolling above or below a number on your 10-sided dice is
Yeah. I'm
50-50. You will or you won't.
I think if you actually did the calculations, it would probably be like a crazy thing that one of them had a clear benefit.
It would depend
But
on
I don't know.
on the like if she's got an 80 in a thing, then a penalty dice is probably better.
Yeah, I would say I'm gonna do a penalty dice because I only have a 35, so hard success makes it a 17, and there's only 2 numbers on this 10-sided that'll help me get there. I rolled a 5, which is
That's the lowest of your 2 rolls.
oh yeah,
I mean,
so,
the highest of your 2.
no, that was the lowest. I'm sorry. So I rolled.
Do you understand how penalty dice work?
Yeah, I rolled a 45, which is a failure.
Okay, you want to spend any luck to buy it down?
No, I don't.
Okay. Oh, that's right. You had to get like 17, didn't you?
Well, for hard success, but
Yeah.
for regular success, it would have been 35, so I would have only been 10 points because I used the penalty.
Yeah.
But no, it's
Yeah,
not.
so, look, what you can tell is they're old and they're dirty.
Yep.
Would they perchance strike me as something a hobo named Weasel might wear?
Hobo named Jim.
You can leave off the name if you'd
Yeah,
like.
I
And
would have liked if you'd have done that. They do.
No, these look like a hobo named Jim.
They do look like your quintessential homeless person's clothing, given the state of the boots and the laces and the dirt, grime, and wear of the shirt and pants. So,
Rosalee,
you can make that assumption and be pretty confident.
Rosalie, I could be wrong here, but these strike me as the kind of clothes you might see on a vagrant, like the kind we heard was dragged down here.
When he says that, you know who Weasel is. He is a mainstay on the streets of South Chapel. You've seen him. And the minute he says that, recognition hits you. That is Weasel's shirt. Those are Weasel's boots. The pants could be anybody.
Could be anybody's pants. Yeah, no, I've seen Weasel about in the town, and yeah, I'm pretty sure those are his clothes. He didn't change them often. Ever. It was always weird how he got a hold of a floral shirt. We always seemed a little perturbed by that. Sorry. So I guess
It started off floral. Now it's earth tones.
no, it's just earth tones. I guess Lil was not telling fibs. She was right. He was brought down here. The question is, where is his body? Where is he?
So I'm going to grab up the clothes, not the boots, but I'm going to grab up the clothes, roll them up, throw them in my little satchel, and I'm going to look at Rosalee and say, so which door do you think we should go through? Do you care?
I see no benefit to either. You could flip that fancy coin you've got there.
All right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Heads northeast.
This only works if you know what heads are on a percentile dice.
Heads is alphabetically before tails. So 50 to 1 would be heads. Tails would be 51 to 100. And it's a tails. So we're going to head through the southeastern door.
All right. As you're picking up Weasel's clothes and then kind of rolling them up, you notice that what on the ground and looking down at it looked like just dirty clothes, that they're also bloody clothes. Dried blood on the clothes. And as you look down at the ground where these clothes were, hard to decipher in dirt, but you think you can make the outline of some blood loss there as well.
When I notice that it's blood, I'm going to stop picking up the clothes and just leave them there.
Okay, fair. Don't want to disturb a crime scene.
Nope.
Would have been a crime scene without the blood, though, wouldn't it?
I think he was concerned that Weasel was just naked somewhere. We were going to happen on him, and he needed clothes.
Weasel, you're gonna need
clothes, Brad.
It's a little different when the sauce is all over it. Once you put the ketchup on, it doesn't need to go back in the packaging.
I agree.
In the packaging.
Yeah.
We call our clothes now.
No, the clothes were the hot dog.
I'm so confused.
And somebody put ketchup on them, and you don't put the hot dog back in the packaging after it's got the ketchup on it. You put it in your belly. I'd like to eat the clothes. Never mind. I'm going to drop this stupid analogy and let's keep going.
Thanks. So you're going the southeast path?
Yes.
Because tails is south of the head.
Right.
So it makes perfectly logical sense. All right. So you guys start going down there again. The hoof-like prints go that way as well. You start heading down that path, and it doesn't go as long that way before you start noticing opportunities to branch off. Like, there's a little branch off to the right, and then there's another one to the left, and then two more to the right. It becomes a bit of a maze of potential tunnels that you could go down. Some look like they might head back northerly up towards the direction of that other tunnel. Some look like they would head a more south direction, and some continue vaguely east. But it's becoming apparent that this is a catacombs, if you will, of a tunneling system.
When I start seeing more and more tunnels, I'm going to look down at the candle and see that what once was a fairly large candle is now little more than a nub. And I'm going to say, hey, Rosalee, before we get back in here tangled up with no light, maybe we should go get an oil lamp or something and come back to this. We could probably let Reggie know what we found down here so far and come back if we choose.
Yeah. The problem is I don't know that we'll make it back before the candle goes out. If it's that far down. I don't know how far down it is, but the other option is to try to make some kind of torch. There might be a stick lying about. I've got loads of fabric in these dresses.
You have any Earl?
She had an Earl last week. He was all the rage.
I probably have some kind of perfume. Does that count? I don't know how you make a torch. I've never done that in real life.
So you can put rags around a stick and light them up, and they're going to burn as fast as rags around a stick. You've got to soak them in something that is a slow burning thing if you're going to get any length of time out of it, which is kind of the point that Joe is making here, that you probably don't have all the ingredients you would need to make a thing. And based on his assessment of the candle, now would be a good time to.
The candle isn't tiny yet, but it is shrinking. And Rosalee, I mean, we could try to make a torch, but we would be better off if we just went back and grabbed a lamp. We can let Reginald know that we found Weasel's clothes, and he may want to send more people down here. If we get a few officers on these tunnels with us, we may actually find something a little quicker.
That's true. All right, that's fine. If that's what you think is best, I can concur that I don't want to be in here in the dark.
So we're gonna back this thing up.
Back that thing up. So, sure. So you turn around and start heading back that way. Both of you give me listen rolls. This is me checking to make sure listen is the name of the skill. It's the danger of playing multiple games, isn't it?
Yeah. I rolled a 41. I'm going to use one luck point to make that a success.
Okay.
I rolled a 04, which is an extreme success. I'm going to use no luck points.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
There's no going back on this decision.
You could make it a 0. I hear all things everywhere.
So you guys turn around and you start heading back. You've gotten back past the branch offs of this main tunnel. And I say main, but it is no bigger than any of the branch offs, right? So when you get back into those things, it's not like you could say, oh, when we get to the big tunnel, we know we're on the right path. They all look pretty much the same. But anyway, you're heading back and you feel like you're not very far from the opening, the circular room. And you hear behind you scratching, maybe clawing on the side of the walls. You probably, Joe, also hear tamped down footsteps. You know, it's dirt, soft floor, right? So it's not like heels clacking on a stone floor, but you probably hear some of that.
I'm going to, with the candle positioned so that it will be behind me, I'm going to turn around and see if I can see anything, especially anything that reminds me of animal eyes in the night.
We're all spot hidden.
46 regular success.
You don't see anything. Why the hell did you make me roll?
Is there a sense of distance with what I'm hearing?
Yes, from you heard it, and it wasn't like right behind you. It was down these halls, and given the way sound could echo, you're not even sure it was in this passageway, but you know it was close enough for you to hear, but far enough away for it to be a very muffled sound.
I'm going to lean into Rosalee and say very quietly, Rosalee, I think we need to make this quick.
Agreed.
And I am going to use my quick but as quiet as possible steps, walking on the ball of my feet rather than heels.
The don't run at the pool walk.
Yeah.
See, I was thinking like Scooby-Doo.
I'm not running.
I'm not running.
Olympic speed walking.
Right. All right, so it's relatively easy to do in this passageway because once you got past the circular room, the passageways were taller than the 4-foot, more crude tunnel that took you to the mausoleum. So right here, you're able to make some pretty good time, and you come out into the large circular area. To your right is the passageway going to the northwest, and kind of in front of you is the passageway you came in on that goes to the west. And did I say northwest earlier? I meant to the northeast on the other passageway.
All right. You ready to head out to the small tunnel?
Yeah, you go first.
Both of you give me listen rolls.
22, which is a regular success, nearly hard success.
50 even, it's a miss.
Okay. The slight scratching sound you heard before, and that was all you heard. You hear it again. And this time you hear the muffled sounds of steps on this dirt floor. And they sound closer and quick.
All right, we're going to head through the small tunnel.
All right, you guys cross the circular room and you get to the small tunnel, and now you guys have to stoop to get through. So who's going in first?
I am.
Does it mean you have the candle, or do you have the candle?
I still have it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Roll me a luck roll.
A 9, which is a extreme success.
It is very dim. It is barely there, but you can tell that there's light ahead. You can't see the source of the light, but the darkness ain't as dark.
Right.
So you can use that to, help navigate and keep your speed up. So you don't have to go so slow, making sure you're not about to bang your head into a wall where it makes a quick little turn or whatever. So you're moving that way. What are you doing?
I'm moving
you've moved in there too. So now no roll is needed. You can hear the sound of footsteps coming, and maybe even a growl or two. As you get to the pit, the coffin shaped dig out, how we getting out? Boost ups. It's your best bet is a strength roll and an easy dexterity roll, or failing the strength roll, it is a hard dex roll to climb her out.
I'm going to try to boost her out.
Give me a strength roll. And I'll give you a bonus dice for adrenaline.
Oh.
72 this time on both.
Oh my God.
Last time it was a 75 on both.
74.
Okay. You need to make a hard dex roll.
No, 77.
Okay, that didn't work. Didn't work the first time y'all tried it. It didn't work this time. So you turn and look at him and say, "I'll boost you."
All right,
Are you blushing this time, or is it just like?
No, I'm not boosting out.
No.
I'm gonna cock my shotgun.
Okay.
Pull the hammer back.
Okay.
Level it at the tunnel.
Okay.